Hey, lovely, energetic ladies. My name is Denise Wellick-Peterson. Let's talk about some of the symptoms, and then I'm going to give you some tips on what you can do to help ease the symptoms of menopause, right? So we are all pretty familiar, usually from a comedian's monologue, that we get hot flashes, right? And maybe you haven't had one yet. Maybe you have. You will know when you have one, right? My first hot flash was induced by a whole package of Girl Scout cookies. And it was like this intense burning from the inside out. It was unbelievable. I'm doing anything I can do to not let that happen again, including no Girl Scout cookies this year. No. So hot flashes, night sweats, low libido, brain fog. Like, it starts out as not being able to remember, but then sometimes conversations with a perimenopausal, menopausal woman just get to be painful because they can't remember every third word. Concentration sucks. Sleep starts to suck. Anything from having a really hard time getting to sleep to being able to stay asleep. Like, every little thing wakes us up, right? Anxiety, depression, things that maybe you've never experienced before, all of a sudden are crazy off the charts. Mood swings, like when you were 12 and 13. And then there's midsection weight gain. Like, as a younger trainer, before things started hitting me, I had a few women that were a little bit older than me going, Denise, I'm just not getting results. I'm doing everything you say. And I'll be the first to say, first of all, I'm sorry. But at the time, I was like, well, you must not be doing it close enough. You must not be doing exactly what I tell you. There's something you're missing. No. In fact, a very sudden onset of 20 pounds around your hips and belly is not uncommon. Like, really sudden. You can be doing everything right. And all of a sudden there's 20 pounds and it's like, where the hell did that come from? Right? It's super disturbing, right? Part of the benefits of working in a gym is I get to wear yoga pants all the time. So I don't necessarily notice 3-4 pounds, right? My pants are forgiving. And all of a sudden it's like, you step on a scale and go, what? No, I think this scale's broken. And you check 3 more scales and you're like, son of a gun, I gained 20 pounds this month. How did that happen? Hormones going crazy. So that's the other thing I want to assure you, that hormones going crazy, it's like when you were in puberty. Like, do you remember being 12 or 13? Or do you remember having daughters that were 12 or 13 and they just, one day, they were like, who are you people? And what's with all the crying? And could we please quit screaming? Guess what? Back at 12 and 13, their progesterone, our progesterone and estrogen, were starting to skyrocket and starting to have big swoops, right? Well, now we're on the other end of the spectrum and we've gotten used to our big swoops. And now we're still going to have hormones, but we're going to have little swoops, right? So it's just a natural part of life. It's just the part of life that says, okay, you don't get to have babies anymore. We'll come back to that. Be careful, because until you're sure, be careful, right? So even when we no longer have a period, right, we still have a hormone cycle. So the tips I'm going to give you today apply, right? You're still going to have progesterone. You're still going to have estrogen. It's just, instead of the really big swings, they're going to be really mild. And the more things we can do to support the progesterone and the estrogen, the more even keel we're going to feel, right? So, first of all, 4 tips. Some things you can start prioritizing right now, and I don't care how old you are. These are kind of like, use your cycle. We all have a hormone cycle in some way, shape, or form, right? And if you support the different halves of your cycle with a few different things, you can lessen the intensity of the hot flashes, if not get rid of them altogether. You can lessen the mood swings. Instead of going here to here, you're just going here to here, right? You can improve libido. You can sleep better. First tip, eat more protein. I can almost guarantee that unless you're a bodybuilder, you are not eating enough protein right now. As a perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal woman, you need 125 grams of protein every single day. So what that looks like for me is I start my day out with a protein shake because I get up really early and head right to the gym. Protein shake normally has 20 to 30 grams of protein in it, depending on what all I put in it. For my second breakfast, I might have a couple of hard-boiled eggs. I might have a couple of ounces of chicken, something with protein in it. For lunch, I have a huge salad with a big chunk of meat. Whatever the meat was we had for supper last night, that's what I have, 4 or 5 ounces. And then for supper, big chunk of meat, steak, chicken, fish. If you're not a meat eater, you can still get protein from vegetables. Just be prepared. You're going to be chewing a lot and it's all good. You got to eat it. So what's the protein going to do? It's going to help you sleep better. It's going to help you lose weight. It's going to help your libido. It's going to help your energy level. It helps everything. Protein is the building blocks of your body. If you don't eat protein, systems start to break down. Your immunity breaks down. Your brain function breaks down. Everything starts to break down. Your muscles start to break down. And let me tell you, just as a matter of aging, male or female, we're already losing muscle mass. Muscle mass is important because that's what burns calories. The less muscle mass you have, the less calories you're going to burn a day just being you. But also, the more likely when you're 70 or 80, you're going to be one of those recliner-ridden seniors. Now, I love seniors, been working with them a long time, but it's sad to see. Okay, so there will never be an easier day to gain muscle than right now. Okay, so get your protein. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, eat your vegetables, especially greens, but anything that's high in fiber kind of vegetables, right? My grandma always called fiber the whisk broom of the body, right? We need to get out the extra estrogens. The hormone dumps that we're getting as our hormones surge and then plummet are toxic in the body. And that's some of the things that are causing your hormonal swings, your mood swings, your weight gain, that sort of thing. So the quicker we can get that excess estrogen out of the body, the better. So eat your vegetables. Sugar, starchy carbs, things like that. We are becoming more and more insulin resistant. The more insulin we have in our system, the more likely we are to store all that stuff as fat. So as we get older, the bummer deal is the 2 Oreos that used to be no big deal are going to help you gain a pound overnight, right? It really is something that we need to start paying attention to. Start every meal with your protein and your fiber vegetables, guys. Tip number 3, take a stroll every day. A stroll is a slow walk through your neighborhood. If you're on a treadmill, it's 2.8 to 3.2 miles an hour. It's not pumping your arms. It's not getting breathless. If you're out walking in the neighborhood, it's going, oh, look, that neighbor is doing a home remodel. Oh, look at the new flowers popping up in that neighbor's yard. Oh, they painted their house. Or it's like walking with a toddler that stops to smell every flower and look at every caterpillar. It's a nice slow walk in nature. It helps us decompress. It helps bring our stress levels down. And stress is a major contributor to weight gain. I just did some continuing education this week on another related topic, and it talked about why I've known that as we get older, our stress levels stay higher and higher and higher, and I've never really been sure of the mechanism. So yay for this continuing education. The mechanism is that when we get stressed, our fight or flight response kicks in, cortisol skyrockets in order to run from the lion, right? Stress is a very old response, 10,000 years. We don't want to be eaten by the lion. We need to run from the lion in order to save our lives. Now, in running from the lion, the cortisol is burned off, your life is saved, stress comes right down as soon as the lion's out of sight, right? That's not what happens so much anymore. If your boss starts screaming at you, you might scream back, but the stress level is going to maintain, and the hormones, the chemicals are still going to be running through your body. Now, as we get older, that switch that says, okay, the lion is no longer chasing us, we can relax, we can get back into rest and digest, it kind of breaks. It doesn't ever fully shut back off again. So we kind of have a leak in our cortisol, so to speak. And that's what keeps our stress levels high. So we need to find a way to burn that cortisol off, whether it be running from the lion, whether it be walking in nature. All of those things help burn the cortisol. Super duper important. Finally, fourth tip, you got to work out. But this is the exciting part of the workouts. You can no longer work out for longer than 30 minutes. That is your max time. Whether you are done with your workout or not, you are done at 30 minutes, period. So if I were to say, okay, Katie, Sveta, here's your workouts. You are going to squat. You are going to do some push-ups. You are going to do some bent over rows, and you are going to do some tricep exercise. I want you to do 4 rounds. The weight needs to be heavy enough that you can only get 8 to 10 repetitions, and you will still be done at 30 minutes. Now, if you pick a weight heavy enough, probably you're not going to get done in 30 minutes. And the answer is set a timer for 30 minutes and you are done in 30 minutes. You want to pretend your car is going to explode if you're not back in your car in 30 minutes. The reason for this is that when you lift super duper heavy, now I'm not talking you get your little 10-pound dumbbells out and you just do 8 to 10 reps. I'm talking about finding a weight that you can only do 8 to 10 times. So likely the answer is 17 to 25, maybe 30 pounds, right? So first of all, you're going to get a big weight. But likely you're not going to be able to finish that weight. I've literally kicked women out of the gym saying, no, 30 minutes is up. Because here's what happens. When you lift super duper heavy, testosterone increases. Testosterone builds muscle and burns calories. Growth hormone also increases. However, cortisol also increases. That's the hormone that stores fat. But up until about 30 minutes, the testosterone and growth hormone are outpacing the cortisol. At 30 minutes or so, the cortisol catches up and starts to bypass it, and then everything that you're doing is going to be stored as fat. You are done in 30 minutes, but you have to work out very heavy. No wussy weights. You got to pick the big girl weights up. Same goes for your speed workouts. No long, slow jogs, no 5-mile, 1-hour jogs. That's going to increase your cortisol level. Too much exercise, too little exercise, both are stressful. You need to sprint. That means go as fast as you can. One of my favorite sprinting exercises, and I'm not a huge fan of running, but I go to the local soccer field and I run all out sprint from goalpost to goalpost. When I get to that other goalpost, I take my time and I walk back. It takes me about 30 seconds or so to run from goalpost to goalpost. And then it takes me 2.5 minutes or more to walk back. And I don't sprint back again until I can breathe. Because in 30 seconds, I get to where I can't breathe. And that's the point. That's how you want to sprint. Still 30 minutes or less, maybe even 20. So I might only sprint back and forth from the goalposts 7 times, 9 times, 10 at best. At best, 10 times back and forth. And most of that time, 30 seconds of sprinting, that's 10 times 3, 30 seconds. It's a minute, 5 minutes of running maybe, and a whole lot of walking back and forth just trying to catch my breath. That's the kind of sprint workout that you need to do. But again, you are done in 30 minutes, not a bit more. So I hope you found those 4 tips very helpful. The other thing I want to make sure you know about is if you want more information, follow me on Instagram at hormonebootcamp.com, or I'm in the Menopause Project Facebook group. Feel free to join that where we get the tips even more. And right now I am doing a Use Your Cycle that I'm going through all the nutritional protocols that you can use for menopause. We're tweaking it, we're tailoring. It's a 1-month program that you can do right now. I wanted it to be super affordable and super doable. So if you want more information, check it out at nowgetgoing.com.